Dara?
Yes, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Welcome in today. You can take a seat right here.
Thank you.
Get this situated for us. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. Just excited, honestly, to be here and just talk through some
That
stuff.
makes me excited.
Yeah, thank you.
So, let's get started. What brings you in today?
Yeah, well, that's a great question, honestly.
Oh, one more question. Do you mind if I take notes?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Yeah, that's totally okay. Well, honestly, I'm here just because I just really want to get just some things situated financially with me and my family, and just honestly just get better direction on what we should do.
Okay. So you mentioned your family. Will you tell me a little bit more about them?
Yeah, so I'm married to my beautiful wife, Summer, and we have 3 children, 2 twin boys, Abishai and Jashabim, and we have a young girl named Ehi, and we're planning on adopting another girl from Nigeria, and but the only hard part about that is it's just been really expensive, honestly, just dealing with so many different fees and regulations, and that's honestly been, I think, like taking a toll on me and Summer, just even emotionally and relationally, it's just hard dealing with stuff like that.
Yeah. So what do you and your wife both do? What are your occupations?
Yeah, so actually I graduated about 2 years ago. I'm a neurosurgeon, and
Congratulations.
thank you. I really appreciate that. I love what I do. I love it so much. And my wife is she's a nurse practitioner.
Oh, so you're both in like the health
Yes,
field?
yes, we're both in medicine. We actually we met in college. We both went to Howard University in DC, and we actually met in our chemistry class. Asked her for notes. Really didn't need them, but so yeah.
Sly move.
Yeah.
In summer. Do y'all work at the same hospital or?
No, she works at in an inpatient facility, and I work at a hospital downtown. So
is it a little bit of a commute for you?
No, not necessarily. It's okay. Living in Houston, honestly, you just kind of get used to the traffic. I feel like, so it's not too bad.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Houston. That's where I grew up. So yeah.
So getting used to that, you probably got used to that traffic at a fairly early age.
Yes, I did. Yes, growing up in the city like that, you definitely get used to being in the car for a long time. So yeah.
So if you're from Houston, how did you end up at Howard?
Yeah, it's actually a great question. So, growing up in Houston, I loved the area that I grew up in, just Pearland, Friendswood area. But my dad and my older sister both went to HBCUs, which stands for Historically Black Colleges and Universities. And just the experience that they had there it sounded awesome, and amazing. And that's what made me honestly choose Howard University. Yeah, I think that's something that me and my wife are both extremely passionate about, and just want to. I feel like we have some desires there of like what we would want to do, just like helping HBCUs out and stuff along those lines. But did that answer your question? I think I actually kind of forgot what you necessarily asked.
No, your family kind of influenced you to pick a university that HPC.
It's HBCU.
HB, sorry.
No, you're fine. I know it's not necessarily common for people.
And so, speaking a little bit more about college, is it okay if I ask how you funded your time in university?
Yeah.
And med school?
Yeah, so sadly, I took everything from my student loans, honestly. It funded me all the way through school. My parents, I love them so much, and they did a lot for me. But I think it is a little hard sometimes dealing with it because I have 3 older siblings, and my dad, he owns his own company, and he paid for my first 2 siblings all the way through school. And then with my 3rd sibling, my older brother, me and him were in school around the same time, and he paid for my older brother about 75% through school. And around that time, that was my freshman year, and after my first semester, he called me and she's like, we can't do it anymore, So from then on, I had to take everything out of pocket. And I love Howard University, but it's hard because it was out of state tuition, and it was far away, and this is a plan that I had, and then obviously the finances of paying for medical school is crazy in and of itself. It's just hard, sometimes dealing with that, and I feel a lot of times I almost kind of get bitter, just with my parents not dealing with their finances well enough to be able to pay for me to go through school.
Yeah, I can understand the emotional side of that. Seeing your siblings kind of get through things, and then you have to take a little bit more responsibility at a young age. When you were taking out those loans, was there someone you went to talk about them, to get more information, or did you just kind of pick the first one you saw?
Yeah, honestly, I just picked the first one I saw, being a med student, and just having the stresses of school, and especially being an undergrad student. I'm pretty sure it's fun, and you're just honestly just enjoying life at that time. So I just needed the money in my pockets to survive, So I just kind of picked whatever was up front.
Yeah. Throughout school, did you think about them and kind of get stressed, or did you think about them and say, I'll deal with that after I graduate, I'm going to be a surgeon one day?
Yeah, I think honestly, just with my occupation, it just culturally, I think everyone else around me has hundreds of $1,000s in student debt, and in some ways almost kind of makes it normal.
Yeah, kind of normalized. Situation.
And then seeing the way that like some of the older surgeons who are around me just were pretty normalized. They have a lot of money, they have a lot of stuff. So I feel like in school it might have been a little bit more stressful, but honestly, when these paychecks started coming in, it's just, I don't know if it necessarily stresses me out as much.
So you're less stressed now that you're in your occupation, been there for...
Yeah, a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you started chipping away at this debt?
Yeah, I've been paying the minimums.
Understandable.
Yeah, but also I forgot to add, while I was in school, my wife was helping me out because she was the only one who was working and honestly could provide for the family. So that was towards the tailor end of med school. So really around my residency, which I was still bringing a little bit of money in, but not anything substantial. So.
How long has your wife been practicing?
Man, that's a great question. I don't know. I think our oldest children are 6. So I'd say around like 7-8 years.
Okay. So how long have y'all been married?
Oh man, she's gonna be upset about this one. It was right around when she started practicing, so I think it was about 8 years ago when we got married. But yeah, I love her a lot.
Okay. So, what else are you kind of struggling with that you'd like to discuss today?
I mean, me and Summer, like I said, I love her a lot, and I think that we have a lot of passions in life. There's a lot of things that we really want to do, and a lot of those things need finances to back them, honestly. And really, we just want to find out a way how to reach those things and how to achieve those things. Because I think I've just gotten to the point where, just looking at our bank statements at the end of every month and every quarter and the year, I'm just like really noticing that I think that we do need some external help to reach the things that we want to do, because I think that they're a little bit different, but we just need advice, honestly.
So you said some of the things we need to do. Do you have some of those specific goals laid out that you'd like to share with me?
Yeah, we have a couple. So one of the first things that we would like to do, as I was like talking to you about HBCUs, we would love to, I think the number that me and Summer had come up with was, honestly, we would like to, give away $3.6 million to HBCUs by the time that we pass, honestly. Just honestly as a fund, and to be able to give scholarships to young African American boys and girls, so that they have the opportunity to go to an HBCU. So that's one of the things that, those are one of the goals that me and Summer honestly have, just with our life in general.
Gotcha. So that's you would probably prioritize this HBCU donations along throughout your lifetime, correct?
Yeah.
You kind of make that your number one.
Yeah, it's something that we think is like extremely important, honestly.
Oh yeah, definitely. Did that inspiration for that come from anywhere? Were you helped out at all as an undergrad or through med school? Someone that kind of inspired you or Summer to do this?
Yeah, there's just honestly been a lot of gracious people to us. But I think probably the main reason was because of just the sharp cutoff that happened with me being in school, with my parents just not being able to pay anymore. I think just from that, I just knew, I was like, man, honestly, whenever I get to this point in life where I have a lot of money, honestly in excess, I want to be able to help other young children out, kind of like me. So I think that's where I come from. Summer, on the other hand, I think that she feels that way just kind of through me, because in a lot of ways, Summer's parents are well off. They make a lot of money. Her dad owns his own engineering firm, and so he paid for everything. He paid for her all the way through school. So,
gotcha. And kind of piggybacking off of that, I kind of want to touch back on your kids. Are they kind of, well, I guess your twin boys are 6, right? You mentioned.
Yes, they're both 6.
What are they kind of into right now? Are there some things that they're baseball, taekwondo?
Yeah, not taekwondo, but
they might beat up on each other.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll be.
Knowing a twin, I'm a twin personally, so
that's awesome.
I kind of know the dynamic of.
Yeah, it's sometimes like they're best friends and you can't tear them apart, and other times I'm trying to tear them apart. But yeah, so they're both into sports, which we actually. I think within the next couple of months, we're gonna start sending them to just some sports facilities and some trainers to just get their technique down. Because I played sports in high school, but both of my parents being from Africa, they never really put a lot of effort into my sports. So kind of want my sons to be able to have that experience. So we're just kind of looking at some different places around the city that we think would be good for them. And whenever he gets old enough, and the daughter that we adopt, I think we would like to do the same for them, just athletically.
Awesome. This might be a far jump it might seem super far down the road, but it's something that we can bring up today and continue to discuss. But do you think your kids are are you thinking about investing in education planning for them? Do you think that's something that you and your wife are interested in?
Yeah. Thank you so much for asking that. That's honestly something that we've talked about a lot. I think we actually spoke about that last Sunday when we were dropping the kids off at my parents' house, just about school and honestly being able to fund them. And yes, I think that we would love to fund. I think the number that we would come up with was 6 years of schooling for every single one of them, just so they have the opportunity to, have some room to mess up like most of us did in school, and honestly even potentially, go and get their master's degree. But yeah. So.
Leaving a little bit of wiggle room just in case.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And if you in summer decide to continue utilizing my services, I would love to. I have a really near and dear education planning is near and dear to my heart, because I originally wanted to start out being a teacher and just kind of figured I can help people in other ways, but still being able to get people to go to college, helping them invest in that future human capital is very near and dear to my heart. So I would love to continue working with you and Summer. I hopefully potentially hope to meet Summer.
Yeah.
But I would love to make that a long-term thing that we would work on together.
Yeah, that means honestly so much to us, just speaking on behalf of both of us, because we just think that college and education is something that is just really important, and we would just love to see our children flourish in that, honestly.
Yeah.
But I actually have a question about that. I don't know if there's something that we could do or if you could find out or grab some information on this, but I think me and Summer would really like for our children to go to HBCUs. Probably Howard, our alma mater.
Yes. Yeah.
But if not, it's okay. But I don't know if there's maybe some investment vehicles that you could see that could be towards a specific college or something along those lines, because we really do think that that's what our children will want to do. We go back to homecoming every single year. So,
oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I could do between now and our next meeting is do a little bit of research on some 529 plans that would fit potentially out of state as well as private universities. So on my end, I would love to do dig some facts up on some investment vehicles for you, for your 3 kids and potentially 4th.
Yeah.
So I would have that information ready for you by our next meeting.
Thank you so much.
And talking about your 4th child, will you go a little bit more into the adoption process that you and your wife have had to go through?
Yeah. Yeah, it's honestly been difficult, you know. I feel like just talking about finances sometimes can be really hard for both of us. And I feel it's like honestly it's taken a strain on this beautiful opportunity we have to adopt someone into our family, you know. Which sometimes I feel it can be a little frustrating and it can suck sometimes, because I just want to focus on the cool aspect of being able to bring a new child into our family, but there's just like these other financial issues that are coming up of like how much we're having to spend and which agency should we go through and the like charges of each agency, and I feel like that just brings up a whole nother whirlwind of just stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just talking about finances can be really difficult for us sometimes.
Do you think that kind of comes from your childhood or Summer's past when it comes to money? If you'd like to elaborate on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a lot of things, honestly. We got married young, you know, just right out of school. I love her so much and I don't regret it. But, you know, just getting married young, and we were about 26, and we had our twin boys when we were 28, and, you know, we weren't expecting twins. I'm pretty sure your parents felt the same way. And just like that going on, and me being in medical school, and, you know, Summer honestly just funded a lot for us. So now that I'm starting to finally kind of get paid, you know, it's almost like now I feel like I have a say financially, and sometimes I'm just like, man, I don't like that, you know. I just feel like our relationship is awesome, and I love her so much, but man, just some of the arguments we get into whenever finances are brought up just kind of get nasty, you know. So yeah, I think it's been difficult, and I think it is different for both of us, just with our spending habits. Like, you know, me growing up in a household where, you know, my parents were penny pinchers, and I wasn't able necessarily to get a lot, you know, even though I knew that they had it, which made it more frustrating for me. I like to enjoy myself, you know. But Summer, oh my geez, yeah. Her dad, she's a daddy's girl, you know, and she kind of got whatever she wanted. Gotcha. And she makes a good amount of money, and I think she still gets whatever she wants. So yeah.
Are you able to have that conversation with Summer, or do you think that's kind of something that we should bring up, the 3 of us together?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried. I think it would be good, honestly, just being able to just like have someone else here to mediate it, you know, because every single time we talk about it, I feel like she turns it on me, you know, which I'm honestly not a saint when it comes to spending, you know, like I told you, I like to enjoy myself, you know. I do spend a good amount of money a month on some stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. So I would love if you would to bring Summer to our next meeting. We can set up our next meeting. And if I see that it's kind of something that's out of my hands, I have a best friend that practices marriage and family counseling and therapy. So I would love to give you her information if it becomes something beyond my reach.
Yeah, I think that's extremely helpful. Just us being able to honestly just learn how to deal with these things, you know? Because I honestly just want to be an example for my children above all. And just, I think that would be really good for both of us.
Thank you for sharing all of that with me.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to end this kind of on a positive note. So I want you to think for a second. If you were to wake up tomorrow and a miracle were to occur, what would your life financially look like?
Man, great question. I think all of our debt would be paid off. Yeah, all of our debt would be paid off. We would still be able to do the things that we enjoy to do and get the things that we enjoy to get without it being such a heavy financial implication on us, if that makes sense. And have enough money to make a difference, you know, like have enough money to help people outside of ourselves.
Awesome. That's so great. Well, Ladaro, I thank you so much for all the things you've shared with me today, and I look forward to future meetings with you and your wife, and hopefully can meet your kids one day.
Yeah.
And kind of work with you through all these things, adoption, some debt, some spending habits versus you and your wife. So thank you for coming in today.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Henderson.